Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 17th of May and I welcome you all at the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, before starting, I would like to tell you that you can download the explainer notes of this entire session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel is given in description box in YouTube. Now, starting up, before starting, let's see the overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important in the today's newspaper. So here we have largely the political articles that have come. Shiv Kumar presses his case, talks in conclusive. Fine, not important article with respect to the examination. Then monsoon to set in over Kerala on June 4th. Fine. Don't create atmosphere of fear. Supreme Court cautions ED. So guys, what actually has happened in the last couple of months? The opposition parties, they have said that the government is using enforcement directorate against the leaders who are voicing their dissent against the ruling government. Okay, there have been also the things that it has become a kind of a political vehicle, a political weapon. All these comments have been made. So Supreme Court had said that such kind of thing should not happen. Okay, then further guys, moving on here. Khasi Council orders on father's surname sets of war of words in matrilineal Meghalaya. Okay, certain things, guys, just you need to understand. You are actually not required to go too much in detail in this order, but there are certain concepts that you should understand. See, there is this word that has been given, that is matrilineal society. Now, what is matrilineality? Basically, guys, when we talk about the society, understand this thing. There is patrilineality, there can be patrilineal societies, and there can be matrilineal societies. Okay, patrilineal societies are the ones where a person is identifying the descent from the side of the father and the surname of the father will be taken up. If I just give you some idea, more than 99% of the families in India are patrilineal. Okay, for example, the people, they derive the surname of the father. They identified the lineage from the father side, that is father, grandfather, great grandfather. These are the patrilineal type of families. But there are certain matrilineal families also, where they identify their lineage from the mother's side. Okay, that is mother, then there is the maternal grandmother likewise. Okay, and they also take the surname of their mothers. Now when we talk about the matrilineal families in India, we have Garos, Khasis, fine, and Jaintias. Garo, Khasi, and Jaintias. These are the three tribes of the Meghalaya, and these three tribes are following the matrilineality. Okay, now guys, as these tribes are there, we have also seen this particular thing, that the tribal people have also been given considerable power to regulate their own matters of customs, etc. So basically, what has happened in the Meghalaya, there is this Khasi, there is this Khasi Hill Autonomous District Council. Khasi Hill Autonomous District Council. They have issued this particular order that if any if any Khasi community's member is there, and if they have taken the surname of the father, if they have taken the surname of the father, they will not be given the ST certificate. Why? Because the Khasi community is a matrilineal community. They said that matrilineality is our custom, matrilineality is our social norm. So if the people will go against that, and if they will take the surname of the father, they will not be given the ST status. So in a way, they are trying to preserve their they are trying to preserve their social setup. Okay, so this is something that has happened. Now some of the people, they have criticized that how you can come out with such kind of an order, such kind of a decree. So this is something, just this word matrilineality, and the Khasis who are following the matrilineality, apart from the Khasis, the Garos and Jaintias also, the two tribes of Meghalaya, they also follow the matrilineality. Okay, now moving to the next article, next page, guys. So here we have the largely political regional issues that have come. Then basically law and order related issues, not important for the examination, guys. We will be moving on in this particular direction. So basically the same regional political issues largely have been given. Contract workers struggle for pay parity signals key change. Okay, so guys, there is one more article that has come on the gig workers. Fine, we will take that article, and this dimension also will take it up there. Then these advertisements, etc., are there. Fine, tenders. So nothing is relevant here. We'll reach directly to editorial page. Now on editorial, the rising tide of dictatorship. we'll see this particular article that how the democratic values are on a decline. Then tripping trade. Now guys, this particular article is talking about the import export trends in the past couple of months, particularly in this financial year also. So the article is saying that actually the export performance is not that much good. Now there are many reasons for that thing. First of all, Russia Ukraine war is going on. Because of that, global demand is weak. Then there is high inflation, then there are recessionary trends that are going on there. Okay, so the exports is not good. Now guys, understand this thing. Recently we have adopted the new foreign trade policy, and this new foreign trade policy have provided this thing that we want to achieve $2 trillion export goal in 7 years. $2 trillion export goal in the 7 years. Foreign trade policy, which has been adopted just recently, provides. But the article is saying that that might be very difficult because of the subdued performance of exports. Now here there are a lot of numbers that have been given. Fine goods exports slumped to 34.6 billion in April, lowest since October. Then a month by month data have been given. Now understand this thing. I tell you this thing many number of times that you are not required to track the month by month export import performance, CAD and all such kind of things, because these things are very volatile. They will change by the time your exam will come. Moreover, such data are also not to be remembered. Then Rajasthan moves spells home hope for gig workers. We'll see this particular article. Then guys, this article talks about the political prospects for Erdogan in Turkey. Okay, then moving on, the rebooting of the Congress. So this article talks about that how the Congress can, what Congress can learn from BJP's politics, how they can, what are the political stakes for them. Fine, not important article guys for the examination, because such political issues are not asked in our paper. Then Dalit outreach of the BRS, again guys, the political article. Now here we see this thing that the pathy of family and high cost hinder maternal health care. So basically guys, when we talk about the maternal health care, so the women who are pregnant, they need antenatal care. Antenatal care is before the delivery of the child, and then there is the postnatal care. Postnatal care after the child is delivered. So antenatal care and postnatal care is often not being given to the women because of high cost, because of the family is many number of times is indifference. Okay, so basically guys, here it is providing the basically what has happened, the socioeconomic background who had taken the antenatal care visits, their percentage is being given. Okay, then further coming to the text and the context page. Why spurious liquor kills? Okay, so guys, what actually has happened recently in Tamil Nadu, there is a tragedy that happened, that there are more than 20 people who have died after consuming the illicit liquor. Okay, spurious liquor. Okay, such kind of incidents have happened many number of times. Fine, there were incidents that happened in Bihar, in now in Tamil Nadu, and many other states also such things have happened. Now, basically, guys, this particular article. Now, here if we see this article, guys, first of all, just one point is there that when we talk about the alcohol, the country-made liquor, which is not properly distilled, which is not properly purified, that liquor contains methanol. It contains methanol. Now methanol in very trace quantities even is very much devastating for human, but in these alcohols the methanol content is very much high. Now understand this thing. In this particular article, what actually has happened. Now this particular article, okay, now if I just give you, so according to paper published in Archives of Toxicology in January 2022, okay, it is basically the methanol is not good, it might cause blindness, health issues. Now here basically the pH drops below its normal value of 7.35. Then it is just telling that how the methanol it transforms, how body metabolizes it. Okay, now guys, understand, in this particular article the core chemistry dimension has been given, that when methanol enters in the body, when alcohol enters in the body, how it is metabolized, then it changes into what, then it changes into what, all such kind of things have been given. Now guys, the article is too much technical. Article is containing very core chemistry related concepts here. Okay, then further moving on, how subaltern women writers broke conventions and took on patriarchy. We'll see this particular article with respect to the examination. Okay, then further 5 more deaths takes furious liquor told to 22. Fine. Then guys, further moving on in this particular direction. Okay, not violating sanctions on Russian oil, says center after EU minister's charge. Okay, guys, this issue we have seen earlier also. Actually, what has happened? India has been classified as a laundromat country. What is this laundromat country? Now, understand this thing. Russia-Ukraine war is going on, and USA, particularly the West, have accused Russia of this particular war, and they don't want that money should reach to Russia because then Russia will use that particular money in the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, G7 countries they have put a condition on Russia. The condition is that they cannot sell their oil above $60 per barrel price. Now, first of all, there is a question that why they have not completely stopped Russia from selling any oil, why they have not completely put the sanctions on them. There's a reason. Guys, understand this thing. Russia is a major supplier of crude oil, and if they will completely stop the Russia from selling any oil, then there will be a lot of shortage that will come in the world market. Okay, and because of that, the prices of the crude oil will go very high. So they cannot stop Russia completely from selling the oil, but they have put a condition that you cannot sell the oil above $60 per barrel, so that the Russia cannot make extensive profit out of it. Now, in the start, it was not a problem because international price was anyhow less than $60 per barrel. But now international price is going up. Okay, and the countries cannot buy at more than $60 per barrel. Okay, now Russia, Ukraine, European countries are also not buying the oil from Russia. Okay, because this war is in their neighborhood. Now, the reports are coming. Reports are coming this that actually India has bought oil from Russia even at above the $60 per barrel price. Okay, and what they are doing, India is buying the oil from Russia. Okay, refining that oil, treating that particular oil, and then selling it to Europe. So basically, Russian oil is reaching Europe but through India. Okay, so it has been said that India is a laundromat country. Recently, a report has come, and European Union basically such kind of a charges fine have also been made. Now, it has been said by India that no, it is not correct. Why we are not violating any sanctions? Moreover, at the end of the day, it is a sovereign decision of India. Okay, so too much interference will also not be tolerated. Now, moving on, guys. So you see this thing that you need not to track every comment that today our foreign minister had made this comment today. Fine, that particular country's foreign minister had made this comment. You need to know that what is this issue that is going on, and then just reading the headlines will do. Then further moving on, guys. After that, we have here India moves closer to getting first indigenous vaccine against dengue. We'll see this article. Then center rejects US government report citing Detroiting religious freedom. We'll see this article. NHRC child abuse. We'll see this article. Then, guys, coming to the world page. So largely here, Ukraine claims it shot down barrage of Russian missiles. So evolutionary issues, Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, the Sri Lankan devolution of power. Okay, these things have been there. Okay, now coming to the business page, telecom bill expected to be finalized by July. Okay, so basically, guys, uh, the telecom the basically this is the Indian telecommunication bill. Okay, its draft was issued in 2022. Now the draft is not a final version. Government is working on that, and the final version will be issued by the July. Now understand this thing. Till that time, please don't go and track this news. Why? Because till the final version is not there, until that bill is not passed, there will be many changes that will come. So usually bills are not to be tracked that much. Okay, then further moving on, after that MRF to buy. Okay, see the corporate issues. China factory output consumption reveal frailty of recovery. Okay, and then the corporate trends, and we have now the sports page. So this is, guys, the overview of entire newspaper. I hope you have understood that which articles are important, which articles look important but actually are not that much important for exam, which articles are to be read just in headings. Fine. Now let's discuss all the relevant articles one by one in detail now. Okay, so you can download this explainer notes from our Telegram channel. Okay, the link for channel is given in description box. So today we'll take the quotation from Mahatma Gandhi. So Gandhi ji says, what is really needed to make democracy functional, to democracy function, is not knowledge of facts. It is not knowledge of facts, but right education. Now, right education is not just remembrance, is not just crude mugging up of the facts. It is understanding the life in totality. It is to know basically it is to have the moral education, to have ethical education, to have the sense of social reform, social justice. Fine. So that is the right education, a complete education, which will entail the social knowledge. Okay, academic knowledge and then the other aspects of the knowledge also. Fine, you can use it in GS paper number 4, GS paper number 2, as well as essays related to the education. Okay, now moving on, and let's take the first article. Okay, so guys, this particular article is an abstract article. Okay, actually this section also is also called as the abstract article. Now first of all, this particular article we are going to see with respect to the GS paper number 1 and GS paper number 2, social issues, and within the social issues related to the women movement, etc. Women related issues, we'll see this article. Now first of all, let's read the heading. How subaltern women writers broke conventions and took on patriarchy. Fine. First of all, what do we mean by this particular word subaltern? Okay, so basically guys, the word subaltern are those military ranks, the junior military ranks in the British army. They were called as the subaltern ranks, but here it obviously doesn't mean that. Subaltern means those people who are margins of the society, those peoples who are away from the hierarchy of power. So marginalized people, fine, Dalit people, often some marginalized communities, women also are often marginalized. So these sections who are beyond, who are devoid of power, who are on the margins, they are called as the subaltern people. Now how subaltern women means those women who are on the margins of the society, the Dalit women. How subaltern women writers broke conventions and took on patriarchy. Okay, now this particular article guys is actually telling that when we talk about the women writers, okay, Brahminical women writers, their approach in the writings is different, and the Dalit women writers or the women writers from the lower caste, their approach of writing is a little bit different. Okay, so we will see this particular thing. Now basically guys, the article is saying that when we talk about the accounts, the books that have been written on womanhood, on the condition of women, there are the different trends that are there. Let's understand this particular trend. Okay, so first of all, in 19th century, a European viewpoint emerged. Now the European viewpoint on the women's condition, it characterized that there is that women in India, they are confined by Brahminical orthodoxy traditions under religion. So it was said that the women are exploited, women are suppressed, they are subjugated under the traditions, religion, all such kind of thing, and they should be rescued, they should be protected. Such viewpoint was the European viewpoint, because you understand this thing also. When we talk about the European viewpoint, that viewpoint saw Indian culture as not very superior one, okay, because that was something which was always the hallmark of colonialism. So this is one viewpoint, that women are subjugated, they are suppressed, and they should be rescued. Then there was this reformist narrative that came. Now this reformist narrative, they said this thing that women should be brought to education, women should be given education, women should be given empowerment, because if the condition of women will improve, then the entire society's condition will improve. So reformist viewpoint, they said that women have the potential, they should be introduced to education, they should be empowered, they should be reformed. This is one thing. Then there was this nationalist historiography, nationalist viewpoint on the women. It provides this particular thing that Indian women are the ones who are the protector of Indian culture and are the protector of nationalism. Okay, so nationalist viewpoint will say that the women has played a very important role in freedom struggle. Women will take the nationalism forward. Women will protect the Indian old cultures, traditions, ideas. So women were the protectors of the cultures and the nationalism. Okay, fine. This is something that happened. Okay, then after that, now guys, when we talk about these women, okay, now sorry, when we talk about these particular accounts, they recognized the necessity of modernity, that women are needed to be modernized, women are needed to be introduced with the education, but actually they neglected the women's individual experiences, and they even neglected the dimension of intersectionality. Now this intersection, here there's this one word written, intersection, but this is a very strong and a powerful and important concept in society, sociology. Let's understand what is this concept of intersection means. Okay, guys, understand this particular thing. See, now when we talk about feminism, when we talk about the feminism, first of all, what feminism means? Feminism asks that women and men should be treated equally. Feminism never asks that women should be given some kind of a preference, rather they want women and men should be treated equally. Feminism recognizes that the women are exploited, they are vulnerable, but feminism sees that women are vulnerable and their vulnerability is because of their gender. Okay, fine. But then the concept of intersectionality comes. Now, intersectionality says this particular thing that every person is not vulnerable in equal sense. Okay, there will be the different identities that will intersect, and because of these different identities will intersect, a person's vulnerability will enhance. Now, I know that you have not understood it, but now I will simplify it. Now, see this thing. Suppose this is a woman. There is a viewpoint that women is vulnerable. Why? Because of her gender. True. But are all women vulnerable equally? No. Let me give you one example. Suppose this is a woman who is upper class, who is upper class, who is rich. Fine. Now this woman, yes, still she is vulnerable. But then let's say there is another woman. This particular woman is Dalit. This woman is Dalit. This woman is poor. Both are women. Both are vulnerable. A, because of their gender. But are they equally vulnerable? No. This woman is more vulnerable because of her poverty, because of her social status. Is it clear or not? Now, what has happened? First of all, they are vulnerable because of their gender. Secondly, the vulnerability will add, more vulnerability will come because of her caste. Then more vulnerability will come because of her economic status. Now, suppose this particular woman is also disabled, then more vulnerability will come because of her physical status also. So guys, understand, intersectionality says that all people are not vulnerable in equal sense. The people, their vulnerability enhances because of the intersection of multiple identities that come. Now guys, understand, well, let me give you one more example. Children, they are often vulnerable to abuse. Fine. But are all children equally vulnerable to abuse? No. The child of a poor person, a child of a poor family will be more vulnerable to abuse compared to the child of a, or the son of a person who is rich, who is powerful. That child is vulnerable, but the other child is more vulnerable. So intersectionality says that different identities enhances the vulnerability. Now understand this thing. Now here, how this intersections idea come. Now see, women were vulnerable, everybody was talking about, but nobody was talking that how Dalit women are even more vulnerable. Fine, that is something that was not discussed. Okay, so basically it was said that now the non-Brahmin feminist writers such as Savitri Bai Phule, Tara Bai Shinde, and Mukta Salve, they came and they brought this intersectional dimension also. They provided that women are often vulnerable, but because of the societal norms of patriarchy, caste discrimination, they are more vulnerable. Okay, and in this way these non Brahmin feminist writers have written their accounts, they have written the books and all these narratives. Okay, now moving on, basically further the article provides this particular thing that actually what happened, basically when the education was modern education was introduced in India, particularly after the Britishers come. Now see this thing. First of all, understand this thing. When the Britishers came in India, their goal of education was never the mass education. Their goal was to educate few people so that they can help the Britishers in the administration. And who were those people who adopted the education early? These were the Brahmin people. These were the Brahmins. Okay, they recognized the importance of government jobs, and for government jobs they need to get educated. So education will give you the government jobs, it will give you status, it will give you economic power, all these particular things will be there. Okay, now over the period of times, the other section of society, they also started to understand this particular thing, that education is a very important tool for social empowerment, economic empowerment as well. Okay, so education became a means, a way to ascend, to improve your status in the social ladder, in economic ladder, and it became attractive even to the non-Brahmin communities. And even the non-Brahmin communities, they started to take education. Lower caste people, Dalit people, women even, they will take education. And when they will take education, they will get the access to history. They will understand history. They will understand that how, now understand this particular thing guys, that see, often a person is being met with discrimination, a person is being met with inequality. The person is seeing this since the birth. The person thinks that, okay, this is the way the society works. This is the default way the society works. Now the person will get the education. The person's horizon will broaden up, and the person will understand about the liberal ideas of equality, justice, liberty. All these things will get to know that how these particular inequalities, discriminations are not nature made; they are man made. Okay, and then that human will challenge those things. Okay, in such a way, non-brahmin or backward caste authors, writers such as Savitri Bai Phule, when they came and when they understood it, they started to write the accounts. Okay, now guys, further moving on, basically the article says that when we talk about the Indian society, orthopraxy and orthodoxy, they complement each other when it comes to the women. Now what is orthopraxy? Now guys, understand this, that in religion there are two things. One is orthopraxy and one is orthodoxy. Orthodoxy means that there are certain beliefs, there are certain faith, those faith have to be followed. There are certain beliefs, certain faiths, they have to be followed. You cannot go against that. And what is orthopraxy? Orthopraxy means that there are certain type of conduct, there are certain type of conduct, there are certain type of actions that should be done. So orthopraxy, praxy means right action, right conduct should be done. Orthodoxy means right belief, right faith should be held. Now women are expected that they will follow orthopraxy as well as orthodoxy, and here the concept of ideal nari, ideal women comes. What is an ideal woman? Ideal woman is one who will do the right action all the time. Fine, she will never be thinking about herself, she will never be thinking about her own interest, she will always be forgiving, she will always be accommodating, she will always be tolerant. Okay, and then orthodoxy, she will follow all the norms, all the religious norms, all the whatever has been written in the religious text, they have to follow that to the core. Okay, so women, they have to follow the right conduct. Fine, they have to follow all the religious beliefs also for the women, that is there. Okay, now guys, understand this particular thing. But on men there is a relaxation. I will show you this particular thing. See, just if we come here, for men it was acceptable that they can corrupt the dharma. Now understand this thing. When we talk about the old Indian society during the time of the Britishers, there was a very strong belief that that you should not cross the sea. If you will cross the sea, it will lead to the corruption of your dharma. Okay, a person will lose the religion if the person have crossed the sea. But still, people, men, they used to cross the sea. They served for the Britishers also. Okay, so that is something that actually was happening. So the men, they could work for British, they could travel across the sea. Okay, they will corrupt the dharma, but still there is no problem in that. But the women, they have to uphold all the traditions, they have to uphold all the cultures. Okay, so this is something that was expected out of the women. Is it clear or not? So this is something that was expected out of the women. Now guys, in this particular thing, in this particular outlook, in this particular scenario, the non-Brahminical feminist authors such as Savitri Bai Phule, fine, they have come and they have written the accounts of the women. Okay, so these were the subaltern narratives, fine, of the women, or these are the subaltern viewpoints of the women. Okay, so this is something that has been there in this particular article. So guys, I hope that you have understood it. Okay, I hope guys that you have understood it. Okay, guys, please let me know if there is any issue, if there is any doubt, anything you want to ask. Okay, fine. Now moving on to the next article. Moving on to the next article. Rajasthan's move spells Rajasthan's move spells some hope for gig workers. Okay, now what this particular article, guys, is talking about, understand this particular thing. First of all, what are the gig workers? I have explained this many number of times, but still I will explain. See, gig workers are those workers which don't have any permanent relation with their employer. They don't have any basically clear cut contract with their employer. They work on per assignment basis and they are paid on per assignment basis. They are not the regular employees of their employer. Let me give you one definition, guys. Suppose you hire a laborer for 1 day's work. and you gave him some work that okay, this work you have to do, and for that particular thing you will give some money. That is the gig worker. Okay, you are calling electrician to your home to fix some kind of an appliance. Fine, you will pay on that particular assignment basis. That is also the gig worker. So gig workers are those workers who work on assignment basis. They don't have any permanent relation with their employer. Okay, now there are the platform based gig workers that have increased a lot in the number. See, gig workers were always there. Construction workers are gig workers. Fine, electrician, plumbers that you are calling, they are the gig workers. But now the platform based gig workers, their numbers is increasing. Platforms are these portal, these applications, websites that have come, which are connecting the gig workers and giving them the work. For example, Ola, Swiggy, Zomato, Uber, all are these platforms, and they have connected with large number of gig workers. For example, how the Swiggy or Zomato works. So basically, Swiggy or Zomato is a platform. What they are doing, there are so many of the riders, food delivery agents. They will collect the food from a restaurant and will deliver that food to a person. For every delivery they will be paid some money. Okay, so for per assignment they are being paid. So there are large number of platform based gig workers that have increased. Nowadays, guys, what have happened from the past 1.5 year, there are many of the protests by these gig workers or the platform based gig workers. They are saying this thing, that there are the exploitative practices that are being used against them by the platform. For example, this Blinkit, which is a 10-minute grocery delivery app, what they have done, they have slashed the money that was paid to these delivery agents. In the past, Ola, Uber also, they have slashed, they have charging more and more commission. So basically, these workers who are working on these platforms, they say that the practices of these platforms have become exploitative and they need some social protection. For that particular thing, guys, what actually has happened, Rajasthan government is coming out with a new law for protecting these gig workers. Okay, so basically, now this is a background, okay, that you should know. Now, where this particular article will be important? This particular article will be important for the issues related to the GS paper number 3, GS paper number 2, labor reforms, GS paper number 3, and GS paper number 2, developmental issues. Both of the places this article will be important. Now, let's understand that what actually this article is talking about. So, the article says this particular thing, that now Rajasthan, it has become basically Rajasthan, they have become India's first state which have announced a first welfare fund for these gig workers. That is the Rajasthan platform based gig worker social security and welfare fund. So basically, Rajasthan government, they have come out with an act to protect these gig workers. They have proposed that every order or every assignment these gig workers are doing by the platform, a particular money will be charged and that particular money will be added in this particular fund, and from here they will be provided the social benefits. They will be provided the social benefits. What type of social benefits? Fine, just let me give you the example. So what type of social benefits? For example, provident fund, employment injury benefit, housing benefit, educational scheme, point education benefit for the children of these workers, skill upgrading. Fine, all these particular benefits will be given out of the money that will be collected into this particular fund. Okay, good thing. Now, guys, it has been provided. Now, first of all, let me tell you one thing, guys. When we talk about the labor issues in India, so basically there were multiple laws on the labor subject, but what actually has happened just recently, the government of India, they have consolidated the labor laws. Okay, actually more than 40 labor laws, fine, were there, which have been consolidated into the 4 labor codes. Okay, what are these labor codes? That is the code on wages, then there is the code on occupational safety, then there is code on the code on the social security is there, and then there is a code on industrial relations. So these 4 codes have been brought. Now, the article is saying this thing, that basically what has happened, the code on social security that was passed in 2020. I told you total 4 codes were passed. Again, I'll tell their name. There was the code on wages, code on wages. Then there is a code on occupational safety and health, code on occupational safety and health. Then the third is this particular code on industrial relation, code on industrial relation, and the fourth one was the code on social security and the code on social security. This was the 4th code. Now, this particular code actually has talked about the gig workers and their welfare. It has talked about that, but the state governments were to frame actual policies for protecting the gig workers and to give them the social security. And here now the Rajasthan government has passed this particular act. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about this code on social security, it is very much important, it is very much urgent. Why? Because these platforms, what they have done, they have registered these gig workers as independent contractors. Now understand this thing, gig workers are not recognized as the employees by these platforms such as Swiggy, Zomato. They are recognized as independent contractors, that they are the parties which are giving them service. And because they are not the employees of the Zomato and Swiggy, the Zomato and Swiggy and these platforms are not responsible for giving them insurance. They are not responsible for giving them some accidental cover or some kind of other kind of insurance. They are not responsible because they are not employees. Okay, so because of such kind of practices, there was an urgent need to protect them. Okay, and therefore the Rajasthan government has come out with this particular act. Now guys, the further the article says this particular thing, that the sectors which have more informal workers, okay, which have more informal workers, there protecting them is going to be a very difficult kind of thing. Why? Because there are no on paper employment relation, and when there is no on paper employment relation, then how to implement it, how to protect them? Okay, now guys, therefore in India, if we definite now see, if we need to protect these gig workers, if we need to protect these workers, then a tripartite relation has to be built to force employers to acknowledge that. Now, what is the tripartite relation? Tripartite relation means the three parties will be there. There will be the employees, there will be the employers, and there will be the government. So, a tripartite agreement needs to be there, where the government will force employers that they need to recognize that all the benefits are being given to their workers. So, this is something that is needed. Now, guys, when we talk about this Rajasthan platform based gig workers welfare board, that has been okay, there is one fund and one board is also there, that is the Rajasthan platform gig based gig worker welfare board. Now what they will do, they will decide the protections that can be given to the workers. All these protections, that is provident fund, employment injury benefit, housing, educational scheme, all these benefit can be given to the workers. Now guys, apart from that, there are certain other schemes, other protection that will be given to the workers, but they cannot be given by state government, they have to be given by the central government. And what are the protections that will be given by the central government? So here we have uh, life and disability cover, health, maternity benefit, old age protection, education, all these particular things will be given by the central government to the specific schemes. Okay, so point is coming that central government will have complete discretion that which states will be getting the benefit. So point is that now we need a political will that states should come out with the reform as Rajasthan government has come, and even the central government should urgently pass on these particular benefits. Okay, now further guys, the article is saying that in India there are the worker boards that are there in India, and they could be a way to build the long term relationship between the workers and the government and the state. But actually these worker board have not worked properly to protect the workers right. For example, the construction board, fine, it does not provide benefits that are useful enough to offset the time construction workers are doing so much of overtime, but they are not provided the benefit. Okay, so these worker boards also have not provided the benefit that were intended to be given to the workers. Okay, now the further the article is saying this particular thing, that when we talk about India, okay, the code on social security that we have brought, which recognize the right for the gig workers, that even has certain problems. It does not consider how to handle the labor rights of gig and platform workers. It only talks about certain protections, that okay, maternity benefit is to be given, old age benefit is to be given, but they are actually not talking about the expansive rights of the laborers. Okay, now guys, understand this thing, what it does it means to recognize the right. It means that if a particular thing is recognized by right, and if it is not being given, then you can approach the court. But if it is not being recognized as a right, it is just kind of a charity. If the state wants, and when they will want, they will give, otherwise they will not give. You cannot hold them accountable. Okay, so this is something guys that has come here. Fine. Now moving to the next article. Okay, so basically, guys, the rising tide of dictatorship. Now, this particular article is providing that there is a rise of totalitarianism, rise of the dictatorship, which is going on, and it has taken the name of certain leaders also. For example, the Putin. Okay, Fine. Moreover, understand this thing. There are many of the personal remarks on some of the leaders, etc., that have been made. Fine. Such kind of remarks, critical remarks in our UPSC examination are not needed because, guys, GS paper number 2, we need to see the diplomatic issues and the diplomacy, the language, even in the diplomacy in your language should be reflected when you are writing the GS paper number 2 answers. So only the relevant content from this particular article we will be taking up. Now, moving on. So basically, guys, the article says that what actually is happening, we are passing through the great tragedy. Fine, what actually has happened, there is a decline of democracy that is going on, and we are slowly accepting the autocracy. Okay, we are slowly accepting the autocracy. There are the strong men, there are the leaders who have a lot of political power. Fine, who are yielding their powers, and fine, it is leading to the decline of democracy. Now, it has been said that it is not true that humanity cannot learn from the history. Often it is said that we see history that the men never learn from the history, or the people never learn from the history. But the article is saying that no, it is not true. If we see 1914 to 1945, this was a period between this two world wars happened, and then the West learned from this particular world war, and since then, since 1945 to till now, there is no such big war that actually happened. But so we took the lesson earlier, but now it is seen that this basically we are forgetting these lessons. We are forgetting these lessons, and again, the nationalism, xenophobia, they are increasing. Okay, and actually, it is the point is that again we might go to that particular age where the wars, autocracies, totalitarianism might become a new normal as it has happened in the past. Okay, now the article is saying that actually what has happened. Okay, today we see that there are a lot of governance related problems. There is a lot of corruption, high crime rates are there, governments are incompetent, they are not able to install the rule of law, and because of that particular thing, strong man politics have become important. Okay, now guys, just to see this particular thing, that what has happened. Now if you take the example of India also, there is a lot of support to the strong men politicians. Okay, for example, guys, if we take the example of the Uttar Pradesh, okay, so the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh is appreciated by a large number of people. Fine, okay, and even many number of times when the encounters etc. have happened, or whenever even in the police custodies there are the even in the police custodies when the gangsters have been shot down, people have appreciated this particular thing. Why? Because people have said this thing that it is a necessity of the time. There is so much high crime, fine, in the state that only a strong chief minister can control that. Okay, so understand this thing that when corruption increases, high crime rates are there, government is not able to control a lot of things, then the strong man politics emerge. There the people think that it is very much necessary that one person who is very much powerful is needed in the politics. Now guys, understand that when this strongman politics emerges, often we see this particular thing that people think for a time that even if a processes are being violated, not a problem for time being. But that is wrong. It leads to the democratic erosion at the end of that day. Okay. Now, guys, we see this particular thing that actually in the modern age, violence has reduced as a weapon for retaining power. Today, you don't need violence for just retaining power. Today, technology can be strategically used to manipulate people, to manipulate the opinion, and by that particular thing, the people can hold on the power. Okay, and in the on one hand they will say that okay, they are not doing anything undemocratic, but the thoughts, views, everything is getting manipulated. Now guys, if we see, fine, today we find this thing that we see that mass incarceration has morphed into majoritarian brute force. Basically, the governments, when they come in the power, what they do in order to retain their power, in order to retain their control, the politicians who speak against them, okay, all the people, they are being put in the jail. This is something which is normalizing. See, there are actually two type of power strongmen rulers that have emerged in the world. On one hand, see, we have the examples of North Korea, Syria, Saudi Arabia. Now their rulers, fine, they, what they are doing, they are openly using subjugation, physical punishment to stay in the power. But in other countries, the rulers, such as the ruler in Turkey, ruler in Russia, the example have been given that, for example, ruler in Russia, for example, the Putin, what they are doing, they are very carefully manipulating the opinions okay, and they are staying in the power. Okay, now if we see the right wing intellectuals, what they do, they are trying to strengthen the core discourse of nationalism. Okay, uh, basically they are moving into the politics of image building, etc. But the point is that no one is actually concerned with the decline of democratic values that is happening. Everything is getting normalized and is being seen as acceptable. This is wrong, and we need to ensure that the democratic not go down. Fine, this is something that has come here in this particular article. Now moving to the next article. India moves closer to getting its first indigenous vaccine against dengue. Now, guys, understand this thing that first of all, vaccine has not come out, vaccine has not been prepared. See, first of all, let me tell you that what has happened. Now, you might be knowing that the dengue is a basically it has become a big health burden. Okay, we did not had any domestic vaccine for the dengue, but Serum Institute of India, Serum Institute of India, and Panacea Biotech, they are preparing India's first indigenous vaccine against dengue, and they are moving in the phase 3 of the clinical trials. And if these phase 3 of the clinical trials are successful, then they will be able to make the first vaccine for the dengue. Okay, now basically, guys, when we talk about ICMR, according to, just a minute, fine, according to ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, it says that the dengue, dengue viral disease, it causes significant morbidity, mortality across the world, and only in India, 2 to 2.5 lakh cases are reported annually. Okay, and many of the people, they even die because of the dengue. Now, if we see, basically, it has been said that the global incidence has grown dramatically. Now, understand this thing, guys. Actually, even when we talk about the dengue, okay, it basically being a vector-borne disease, okay, and mosquitoes, they thrive in the hot climates, in the humid climates, and as climate change is happening, more and more hot and humid climates regions are increasing. So actually, it has been said that the risk of dengue is increasing even more. Okay, and estimated 100 to 400 millions infections will occur every year globally, but 80% are mild. But still, WHO classifies a dengue as as one among the top 10 global health threats. So therefore, we need to have the vaccines to protect the people against such. Fine. So therefore, we might get the first indigenous vaccine in the times to come. Okay. Now moving to the okay, NHRC flags rise in child abuse content on social media. So this article will see with respect to the GS paper number 2, issues related to the children. GS paper number 2, children related issues. Okay. Now basically what has happened, National Human Right Commission, they have taken a suo motu cognizance. Suo motu means that when a body or an organization at their own behalf, fine, they take some action. Report was not filed. So NHRC on suo motu, they have taken the noting of a social media, of a media report, which says that there is a 250 to 300% increase in the circulation of child sexual abuse material. Now, what is the child sexual abuse material? So certain photographs, certain videos, for example, video of child pornography. This is the child sexual abuse material. So such photographs, videos are being spread on the social media. More and more children are being shown in such videos and photographs. Okay, there is 250 to 300% increase in such kind of cases have happened, and it has been said that such kind of child sexual abuse material, child pornographies, etc., that are spreading on the internet, majority of that content is of foreign origin. Okay, but even there are the and it has been said that Indian investigation, they have not come across any Indian made child sexual abuse material so far. Majority of them are the foreign made, but still we need to ensure that even if there is a minuscule such kind of mishap that is happening, it is needed to be tackled. Okay, now the NHRC says that such material, when it is spreading, it is violation of human rights relating to the life, right of life, liberty, dignity. Okay, it puts the children whose material is circulating in the trauma. Okay, and also it shows a kind of a moral decay, a moral degeneration. Now in the article it is also said that actually the US agencies have flagged that there are the child sexual abuse material that is there on the internet. And actually in some cases what has happened, the photographs that have been taken lovingly by the of young children by their father, by their brother, by sisters, they have also been classified as a child sexual abuse. Okay. Now uh, here there offer also there is a subjectivity that even these cases might not be the cases of the child sexual abuse, but they have been classified as such. Okay. But anyhow, this particular child sexual abuse material that is circulating on the internet, it is needed to be tamed, and NHRC has taken the cognizance of that thing. Fine. Now, guys, here there is one article. Center rejects US government report citing deteriorating religious freedom in India. Now, you are not required to go too much in detail in this particular article, guys. There's just one line concept. Now, see this thing. Recently, the US government has released the report on international religious freedom. The report on international religious freedom. And it has been said that in India, the religious freedom is declining. Okay, certain minorities have been targeted. The religious freedom is declining according to this US government report. But in this particular direction, what has happened? The India has rejected this particular report and said that there is no deterioration of the religious freedom. It is based on some misinformation. It is based on some kind of a propaganda, on some kind of a half-cooked information. This particular report has been brought. Nothing such kind of a thing is happening. So we have rejected this particular report. Okay. So this is just one thing that has happened. Okay. And this is also not the new thing or the first time. Many number of times USA has basically said that the religious freedoms have declined, but fine, that again can be a narrative also. Moving to the main practice question for the today. So the practice question for today, it reads that the Code on Social Security 2020 aims to extend social security to all employees and workers, either in the organized or unorganized or any other sector. Analyze the key provision of Code on Social Security 2020. Okay, so this will be a 10 marker question on GS paper number 2, GS paper number 3, labor issues, labor reform, developmental issues, anywhere it can be asked. Fine. So that is all, guys, about it. I hope that you have understood this today's session, and with this we come to an end. Fine, guys, if you have understood it, please do hit the like button, please do comment on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Please take care. Thank you.